under fire for extremely aggressive behavior portrayed toward Caitlin Clark, the rookie from last year, the one that has everybody's focus in the WNBA. And this incident has, of course, gone viral online, but also sparked up some other skeletons in Brittney's closet that she probably wants to stay hidden.
Brittney Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia in a man's prison, which I had.
The Brittney Griner controversy, separating fact from fiction. Imagine waking up to headlines claiming you've been banned from your career over racist remarks and biological secrets. This is a hurricane that engulfed WNBA superstar Brittney Griner. Overnight, explosive videos surfaced showing Griner allegedly calling fellow player Caitlin Clark trash white girl after a heated on-court exchange.
Gotta see this. So Brittney Griner has just been banned from the WNBA after this situation with Caitlin Clark is going viral, where she made some extremely racist remarks from the bench after getting fouled out by Caitlin Clark. I mean, this is just insane. Just watch this video, bro.
But as we peel back the layers, a more complex story emerges, one involving medical controversies, gender identity debates, and questions about fairness in women's sports.
Just revealed in an ESPN interview, the struggle she faced with her body and outward appearance when she was growing up. Yes, she's very flat-chested. Listen, there's arguments about there. There's arguments out there about people that think she's not a biological woman. I ain't gonna argue with you too hard. Fact checkers say she is, but just essentially is completely flat-chested. I don't know.
Strap in as we expose what really happened behind the viral clips and shocking headline. The alleged incident that ignited the fire. The arena buzzed with playoff intensity as Brittney Griner's Phoenix Mercury faced Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever. With 90 seconds left and Clark driving toward a game-winning layup, Griner's frustration boiled over. A hard foul sent the rookie crashing to the floor. As referees signaled Griner's disqualification, arena mics captured audio that would detonate across social media. Trash white girl. The clip spread like wildfire.
Griner just called Caitlin Clark a trash effing white girl. Caitlin Clark has been picked on and abused ever since she entered the league in 2024, and now Brittney Griner is joining in on the action, saying that she is an effing white trash white girl because after she fouled out, she decided to take her anger and frustration out on Caitlin Clark. If the roles were reversed, imagine the type of field day the media would be having right now. Let's all remember the character of Brittney Griner. This is the same woman who got caught smoking weed in Russia and was...
But whispers of an alternate narrative emerged almost immediately. Mercury staffers insisted Griner had actually growled whack call, a protest against refereeing bias. Forensic audio analysts later revealed the truth lay somewhere in between. Crowd noise and microphone placement created ambiguous frequencies, allowing both interpretations to thrive. What followed was a masterclass in digital outrage. Hashtag Ban Griner exploded globally within 3 hours, resurrecting her 2014 domestic incident, where she pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct after a physical altercation with then-fiancée Glory John.
Made a trade for the merchant of death and returned him back to Russia for him to continue doing the same shenanigans that he was doing before he got arrested. He sold $10 million of arms to the Houthis. Do you think this was an even trade? The WNBA is nothing more than the WWE with women in basketball shorts.
Critics weaponize the contrast. Clark, the wholesome Iowa farm girl, versus Griner's violent history. Lost in the firestorm was context. The 2014 incident involved mutual combat between two elite athletes, with Johnson herself stating they'd both made mistakes. The racial undertones grew impossible to ignore, as Clark drew record-shattering viewership. 80% from demographics new to the WNBA, veteran players privately lamented feeling erased. One all-star confided anonymously, "We built this league grinding in empty arenas for 15 years. Now cameras only follow the white girl."
It used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment. And that's pretty gross. Are you
I act like this okay. The WNBA is never, ever, ever going to work and never make money. And this is exactly what Caitlin Clark gets for bending the knee. Do you guys remember when she said, when we lost all respect for her, when she said, "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. And the more we can elevate black women, this is going to be a beautiful thing. That's when it was all over. And Angel Reese and Brittney Griner, they walk around like the league owes them something. Even Ryan Clark's attitude as if, bro, where's the victimhood? These are freaking millionaires. Like, what are you talking about? It's attitude, it's no humility, just entitlement, and that's not confidence, it's arrogance with receipts.
But even that won't matter if something happens and Caitlin Clark's ratings disappear like they have now that she's been injured. But that is not teaching this league anything. A couple of weeks ago, and even though it went viral, it somewhat got lost in the shuffle. Brittney Griner's effing white girl trash comments that was caught on video. Some people tried to claim it was effing whack call. I'm sorry, there's not a world where I see.
This tension had simmered for months, a powder keg awaiting a spark. The shocking medical revelation. 5 days after the viral clip, an anonymous medical dossier detonated in league offices. Its contents read like a biological thriller. Griner 6 feet 9 inches frame, size 17 men's shoes, surpassing Shaq's size 16, and 8 wingspan, wider than 99.8% of NBA players. But the real bombshell? Bone density scans showing skeletal structures aligning closer to male physiology. The report cited her unprecedented dominance, 8 block shot titles, and a record 129 blocks in 2014, asking whether these were product of training or biological destiny. Griner's lifetime of scrutiny unfolded in haunting detail.
There are a number of states who are aggressively moving to prevent transgender athletes playing. And I was wondering, where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes to be able to play?
Oh, I mean, that ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. You know, everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats, and feel safe.
Really, Brittney? Really? Can we switch this Brittney with the other Brittney, please, and bring her back?
Look, in high school locker room, teammates would accidentally bump into her, testing for anatomical signs. During Baylor's championship run, rival coaches demanded general inspection. Her 2023 ESPN interview revealed the trauma. Women followed me into bathrooms from Moscow to Minneapolis, screaming, "Show us you're real." The cruelest blow came via technology, when Griner posted a topless vacation photo. Meta's nudity AI, programmed to flag female breasts, remained silent. Tech investigators confirmed the algorithm had classified her chest as male due to muscle definition and lack of glandular tissue. Sports ethicist Dr. Elena Torres framed the dilemma. When do physical advantages cross from genetic lottery into competitive imbalance? Science hasn't caught up to the debate. The Griner controversy ripped open festering wounds in women's athletics. Conservative media hammered the WNBA's hypocrisy shield, while transgender athletes face chromosome testing and hormone monitoring. Griner underwent zero biological verification despite identical concern. League executives dodged inquiry, a silence louder than any press conference. Behind closed doors, team doctors leaked alarming data. Griner's vertical leap, 33 inches, and grip strength, 98 psi, exceeded female norms by 27 to 42%, metrics that align with male collegiate athletes. Safety concerns became impossible to ignore. Former opponents described guarding Griner as entering a different weight class. Collisions left players with cracked ribs and concussions at triple the league average. It felt like being tackled by an NFL tight end, confessed 3-time Defensive Player of the Year Candace Parker in a since-deleted podcast. The league's crisis deepened when internal memos revealed a chilling directive. Trainers were told to list Griner-caused injuries as non-contact in official reports. Meanwhile, transgender athletes like Leah Thomas face invasive testing for far lesser physical profile. The unspoken truth? The WNBA's $60 million valuation depended on Griner's marketability, a financial incentive overriding competitive ethic. If you're seeing the double standards here, smash that like button. It tells YouTube the story needs to be seen. The unseen domino effect.
Watching on purpose, it's very disruptive. It's called a freaking game that they pay you money to play. Don't play the game. It's very disruptive. It continues. Brittney Griner voiced frustration in a recent interview, claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great.
The WNBA is committed to eradicating racism, along with criticism and most other isms. Now, of course, feminism is allowed along with feminine masculinism. A week or so into the season, Bob Griner potentially violated the no space for hate policy. Bob was caught on video speaking blasphemous rhetoric towards the Great White Hope, but for some reason, Kat Engelbert is choosing to ignore it. Kat Engelbert can't find the interest to even launch an investigation.
The controversy triggered seismic policy shift. 12 states fast-tracked fairness in women's sports acts mandating biological verification for collegiate athletes, laws directly citing Griner's case. The NCAA scrambled, quietly forming a task force with Olympic officials to redefine eligibility standards. Meanwhile, Griner sponsors face brutal choices. Nike's inclusivity-focused Dream Crazier campaign now star an athlete accused of biological advantage. Internal emails revealed marketing teams urging distance without denunciation, a corporate tango of damage control. Clark's role evolved from victim to symbol. Rural youth leagues reported 300% enrollment spikes as white parents cited her as proof meritocracy still exists. Conversely, black community leaders organized We Are BG Rally, framing attacks on Griner as coded racist. The cultural divide manifested physically. At Fever Mercury rematches, arenas segregated into chanting faction, one side waving biology matters sign, the other counting with stop policing black body. This story is still unfolding. Tap subscribe and hit the bell. We go deeper than anyone else when new bombshells drop. The frigid isolation of a Russian penal colony became Brittney Griner's surreal reality, a dystopian landscape where sub-zero temperatures seeped into concrete walls, and the specter of violence lingered in overcrowded barracks. Transferred to Ike 2, a notorious facility 200 miles east of Moscow, Griner faced conditions echoing Soviet gulag. 17-hour labor shifts in a sewing sweatshop, sleep deprivation tactics, and meals of rancid meat. Even prison cats refused. Former detainees like Trevor Reed describe rotting food and psychological torment as standard tools of control. For Griner, a black, queer woman, the risks multiplied exponentially. Guards weaponized slurs against her race and sexuality, while Putin's regime leveraged her identity as geopolitical currency. As she later revealed, her body became a battleground. Classmates once groped her chest jeering, "Yep, nothing." And Russian cellmates replicated those humiliations, probing her gender with invasive cruelty. This trauma resurfaced explosively during her clash with Caitlin Clark, when Clark's public acknowledgement of white privilege in basketball ignited Griner's fury. The comment crystallized a painful duality. Clark's record viewership, 80% from new, predominantly white demographics, felt like a razor to veterans who'd built the league in near-empty arenas. Griner's alleged trash white girl outburst wasn't merely personal resentment. It channeled decades of systemic marginalization, where black athletes like her funded careers through grueling overseas work, while white peers reaped domestic acclaim. The prisoner swap that freed her, trading Victor Bout, a merchant of death arming terrorists, exposed America's agonizing calculus. Critics lambasted the unequal exchange, but Griner's memoir Coming Home reframed it. Putin, she wrote, knew America's racial tensions were his leverage. Her release became a Rorschach test for national value, redemption for some, proof of unearned privilege for others. The WNBA's impossible position. Financial hemorrhaging threatened the league's survival, a projected $40 million loss in 2024, despite Caitlin Clark's jersey sales shattering records and ticket prices soaring 200%. Sponsors like Nike faced brutal dilemmas. Griner's marketability as a 10x all-star clashed with her radioactive controversy. Internal memos revealed frantic lobbying to distance without denunciation, while franchise owners whispered about her $1 million salary, 5 times her WNBA earning, as unsustainable ballast. The Clark-Griner rivalry amplified this tension into a cultural fault line. League executives privately agonized over suspending Griner, fearing conservative media would trumpet it as woke hypocrisy capitulation. Yet inaction risked alienating Clark's army of fans, a demographic the WNBA desperately needed to monetize. This paralysis peaked when sports physicians demanded chromosome verification for Griner, citing her unprecedented physical dominance, 8 block shot titles, a wingspan exceeding NBA giants, and bone density scans aligning with male physiology. The players' union rebelled, branding testing discriminatory warfare on trans athletes, while coaches anonymously conceded safety concerns. Opponents suffered concussions and cracked ribs, guarding her at triple the league's injury rate. The stalemate exposed the league's lose-lose reality. Enforce biology-based rules and face cancellation from progressive allies. Ignore them and betray athletes demanding fair competition. Behind closed doors, owners debated nuclear option, a Griner trade to Atlanta, or a league-wide biological audit, knowing either could implode the WNBA's fragile ecosystem. Forensic audio analysts waged a proxy war over Griner's viral clip. One faction isolated frequencies approved trash white girl, citing her history of anti-racism activism and Clark's privilege remarks as motive. Their opponents countered that crowd noise distorted whack call, pointing to Griner's clean technical foul record that season. This ambiguity became political tinder. Conservative outlets framed the league's investigation as anti-white bias, noting that Indiana Congressman demanded Clark protection after hard fouls, while Griner's 2014 domestic violence plea was minimized. The double standard debate intensified when AI-generated nude images of Angel Reese flooded social media after a Fever Sky game, a violation the WNBA dismissed as unsubstantiated despite Reese's team confirming threats. Had Clark endured equivalent abuse, argued players like Brianna Turner, ESPN would have aired specials for weeks. Griner's own history amplified these tensions. Beyond the 2014 altercation with fiancée Glory Johnson, opponents resurrected her 2010 Baylor incident, a punch that shattered an adversary's nose, painting her as chronically violent. Yet context reframed this. Teammates revealed Griner was provoked by transphobic slurs, mirroring her Russian prison fights where aggression was survival. The league's tepid response to these layers, prioritizing Clark-fueled profits over cultural rifts, forced players into self-defense. Dejounai Carrington installed AI filters to block racist DM. Reese deactivated Twitter as trolls funded by sports betting bombarded her over lost parlay. This ecosystem, where hate speech monetized engagement, exposed the WNBA's Faustian bargain. It condemned toxicity publicly while letting it fuel its viral economy. Contrary to claims of a lifetime ban, Brittney Griner received a 5-game suspension, the WNBA's most severe nonviolence penalty in a decade. This decision reflected the league's impossible balancing act, addressing Griner's documented history of on-court aggression while acknowledging her status as a 10X All-Star. The punishment satisfied neither side of America's cultural divide. Critics saw it as proof of woke hypocrisy, protecting a player with repeated conduct violations. Progressives viewed it as disproportionate punishment targeting a black, queer athlete in a league where 70% of players are women of color. This firestorm overshadowed Griner's 2025 signing with the Atlanta Dream, a fresh star haunted by unresolved questions about privilege, advantage, and accountability. Medical testing, Pandora's box for women's sports. The controversy became a catalyst for legislative action, with 12 states fast-tracking fairness in women's sports acts, mandating chromosomal or testosterone testing for high school and collegiate athletes. These bills, fueled by viral claims about Griner's physiology, threatened to dismantle decades of Title IX progress. The NCAA now faces existential pressure. Maintain inclusive policies risking legal battles, or adopt biological verification standards that could exclude transgender athletes and women with intersex variation. Elite female competitors whisper of a dystopian future, where genetic reports become as routine as draft combine, a reality that reduces athletes to data points while ignoring socioeconomic advantages, like private coaching or access to performance technology. Griner's unlikely redemption from pariah to advocate. Emerging from the scandal, Griner channeled her Russian prison trauma into advocacy for wrongfully detained Americans. Her op-ed, "Every Family Deserves to Be Whole," drew direct parallels between her experience and hostages worldwide. This pivot revealed her complex duality, the same athlete accused of biological advantage now leveraging her platform to fight for marginalized detainees. Her nonprofit secured the release of 2 journalists imprisoned in Myanmar, a move critics dismissed as reputation laundering, but supporters hailed as proof of her evolution beyond basketball. The WNBA quietly endorsed her humanitarian work, signaling that her value to the league transcended points scored or games suspended. Beyond the headline, the impossible tightrope of modern athletics, the diversity versus fairness dilemma. Women's sports now stand at a crossroads no policy can easily navigate. Celebrate diversity and risk undermining competitive integrity, enforce biological verification, and exclude athletes whose bodies defy traditional categories. Griner's firestorm exposed how this tension mirrors America's broader culture wars, where science, identity, and politics collide with no neutral ground. The WNBA's silence on gender testing wasn't cowardice, but recognition of an unwinnable battle. Any stance would alienate half their fan base. Meanwhile, female athletes globally face invasive scrutiny, from mandatory genital inspections in some African competitions to testosterone caps in track and field. The quest for fairness has birthed a new era of institutionalized violation, race, privilege, and the unspoken hierarchy. The Clark-Griner feud became a proxy for America's racial reckoning. Clark's acknowledgement of white privilege resonated with fans who saw Griner's alleged trash white girl remark as proof of anti-white bias, ignoring the context of a league where black stars earn 72% less than their NBA counterparts, while facing disproportionate online abuse. This collision of identities revealed sports' unspoken caste system. Clark's record viewership, 80% from new, predominantly white demographics, generated revenue that subsidized the league. Yet Griner's jersey sales funded bail funds for incarcerated women of color. Their conflict wasn't personal but structural, a clash between commercial appeal and cultural conscience. The human cost of symbolism. Griner's journey, from a bullied teen groped by classmates shouting "What are you?" to a geopolitical pawn in a Russian prison, reflects how society weaponizes outliers. Her 6 feet 9 inches frame, androgynous features, and black queerness made her simultaneously invisible and hypervisible. Teammates saw her as family. Trolls reduced her to memes questioning her womanhood. Politicians framed her prisoner swap as un-American. This dehumanization exacted a visceral toll. During suspension, Griner reportedly relapsed into PTSD episodes triggered by airport security checks, echoing her detention in Moscow, where guards mocked her identity. Her story underscores athletics' darkest paradox. We elevate athletes as heroes only to shred them when they defy simplistic narrative. The unresolved questions haunting sport. 1. The verification vacuum. No major professional league has implemented universal biological testing, fearing legal challenges and scientific limitation. Chromosomes alone don't determine athleticism. Factors like myostatin deficiencies creating superhuman strength, or EPO receptor mutations enhancing endurance occur across gender. The WNBA stalemate proves elite sports lack tools to fairly evaluate complex physiologies without violating privacy or enabling discrimination. 2. The safety double standard. While critics highlighted injuries from Griner's physical play, they ignored systemic dangers like commercial flights causing chronic fatigue. WNBA players suffer 37% more ACL tears than NBA athletes, a disparity linked to cramped airline seats and sleep disruption. Protecting female athletes requires more than policing bodies. It demands investment in their well-being. 3. The fandom fracture. Clark's arrival split audiences into traditionalists, basketball purists, and progressives call supporters. Ratings revealed this divide. Fever games featuring Clark drew 2.5 M viewers. Dream games with Griner averaged 500K, but had higher merchandise profits funding social justice initiatives. This divergence threatens league cohesion. Can sports entertain while advancing equity? 4. The legacy question. Griner's career will be remembered not for blocks or suspensions, but as a catalyst for change. Her case spurred the WNBA's first mental health sabbatical policy and influenced State Department protocols for detained athletes. Yet her greatest impact remains exposing how sports amplify society's fracture and force us to choose between simplistic judgments and uncomfortable nuance. The path forward. Nuance in a binary world. The tragedy of Brittney Griner isn't her controversies, but our refusal to see her humanity. She is neither villain nor saint, but a product of systems that commodify different. Moving forward requires science before politics. Athletic commissions must fund independent research on biological advantage, moving beyond reductive gender binaries to study factors like muscle fiber distribution or oxygen utilization. Equity beyond pay. Invest in charter flights, psychological support, and career transition programs, recognizing that safety and dignity are prerequisites for fair competition. Fandom with empathy. Reject social media's outrage economy that profits from reducing athletes to caricature. Griner's story ends not with answers, but with an invitation to hold multiple truths at once. That athletic excellence can coexist with human frailty. That fairness requires neither exclusion nor erasure. And that sometimes the greatest victory isn't a trophy, but the courage to remain complex in a world demanding simplicity. As she rebuilds in Atlanta, her journey whispers the uncomfortable reminder we need, that behind every scandal lighting up our screen, there's a person insisting on their right to be messy, flawed, and fully human.